Hello everyone. So this video I'm gonna discuss about like STLC process, like what is STLC, why like what kind of phases are there on STLC, and I will also discuss about like all like steps properly. So let's start this video. So first thing is like what is STLC? So STLC is nothing but it is a software testing lifecycle process. Through that process, we can test that our software, and it is a kind of structural way where we are defining the phases of software testing. And also here we are focusing about quality assurance, and also we are checking that our software is meeting that customer requirements or not. And this is that STC process. And what is the importance of that? Importance is nothing but it is kind of systematic approach for testing the software. It also reduce that software defects and also improve that software quality. Now there is some pages of there is some pages of this STLC. That first page is like the requirement analysis, then it comes to test planning, then test case development and test environment setup. And once everything has done, then we have to execute that our test case. So it is comes under test execution, and also we have test closure, test cycle closure. So here we have some entry criteria, exit criteria, those things. Now let's talk about requirement analysis. So first thing is like here we are analyzing and understanding the requirement from a customer point of view. And once we are we have understood the requirement, then we have to review that software requirement, and we also identify the testable requirement, or we have to clearing our doubts. Those activities we need to be follow. And once everything got done, then we have to clear there some deliverables like requirement testability matrix or RTM. Then we have to define that our testing scope document where we are like defining like what kind of things we need to test. So those things comes under requirement analysis. So here what happened, like customer have their own requirement that is called customer resource specification or CRS. Then we have our own requirement that is called software resources specification or SRS. So those things comes under requirement analysis. Now another thing is like test planning. So test planning is nothing but here we are developing a testing approach. So we have branch of approaches like that reverse pyramid approach, top pyramid approach. Those things I will talk about later. Now those things comes under test planning objective, and here some activities we need to follow, like that we have to define the test objective, we have to estimate that our testing effort and testing resources, we have to schedule the testing activities. Also we have to identify that risks and defects. We also like we have to prioritize our defect also. So those things comes under test planning. And here deliverables means like here we have to create the test plan document and risk management plan. So test plan, here we are defining that proper scope along with that our testing scope and all. And risk management plan, here we are defining that risk risks or defect kind of defect priority and severity. So those, then it comes to test case development. So here, after understanding the requirement, we have to write the test scenarios. So once that our test scenario has completed, then we have to write that proper test cases. Now difference between scenario and cases is like scenario is kind of single line test case, but test case is kind of expanded way. So scenario where like we are defining like one line single line thing, and test cases here we are expanding each and everything properly. We are also like defining the input and output criteria for that, and those activity we need to follow. And also we are preparing the test data, and those things we need to review and finalize that our test cases. And here our main deliverables is like test cases we have to like develop, and the test script we have to create, and test data we have to create. So this all comes under test case development. Another thing is like test environment setup. So test environment setup is nothing but here we are preparing that our test environment or test bed where we conduct that our testing activities. And here also we have set up that our hardware and software. Also we have configured some kind of testing tools. We have validated some kind of testing environment. We have to install, we have to run some script if it is needed. So those things activity we have to do here. And here also we have to, once like that a test environment has been set up, then we have to run that our test cases based upon that our test environment, and we have to create a system checklist. To that checklist we can check that our environment is properly adjust as per like requirement criteria or not. Another thing is like test execution, where like we have to execute our test case and we have to create the report of defects. So this all comes under test execution. And here some activities are there, like we have to run our test cases, we have to log that our defect, we have to retest, and regression cycle comes under here. And we have to update our test result, we have to update our old test case if it is needed. And here some kind of deliverables are there, like the test execution log. We have to create the defect reports, we have to create the test results. Those things come from the test execution. Now test cycle closure. Here uh, we have to like evaluate our testing process and close up the testing cycle. So here like that, when we have to stop our testing, those things we need to define in test cycle closure section. So here we are analyzing that our defect matrices. We have to checking that our documents properly. We have to check that our test coverage, like out of like required through that out of suppose 100 cases, how much coverage has been completed. And here we have to create the test summary report based upon that feature, and we have to if that summary report everything goes fine, then we have to create the test closure report. So these things comes under test cycle closure. Now here some kind of entry and exit criteria of in STLC is there. Entry criteria means like some kind of conditions it should be met before that this STLC process has begun. So that thing is like some kind of and like predefined scope should be there, that through that before starting that like testing, we before starting that STLC process, we have to check that those conditions should be fulfilling or not. Exit criteria is nothing but like once like all condition has been fulfilled, and we have to analyze it, we have to check it, like if we can stop that STLC process, or we can stop that our testing process or not. So these things comes under exit criteria. So here that main importance is like that, here we are checking that each and every page properly before completing that whole STLC process. Now some of best practices we need to follow while that STLC. So first is like that, we have like for tester perspective, we have to involve in requirement analysis phase. If that testers are there on like requirement analysis time, then we can understand like what kind of you can say like what kind of like problem customer is facing and how to solve that problem through that software will be made. And we have to create that our test cases based upon that our requirement. And we should have proper clear documentation for mentoring the document. For mentoring the document, we have to know that all functions properly and all cases should be proper documented way. And another thing is like effective communication, to communicate with that like developer. Proper collaboration should be needed along with different teams, along with customer also. Those things is very important here. Another thing is like defect tracking. So defect tracking is nothing but here we have to monitor and track our defect closely for like that this defect if the defect is high or critical defect, then we have to like monitor this defect properly. Another thing is continuous improvement. So here what happened, like we have to analyze the testing cycle, we have to implement our future processes, we have to check it that if any kind of enhancement is required while doing that STLC or not. So those things comes under STLC best practices. So yeah, guys. So let's talk about like conclusion of this video. First thing is like that still is kind of structural approach where that software testing has been followed through STLC process. Each pages contribute some kind of delivering of high quality product. And my final thought about this STLC process is like that this STLC is a best practice is the key of successful software outcomes. So software testing is nothing but just test the software based upon that our customer point of view. It is also comes under like we are checking the quality of that our software, if that customer is satisfied with the software or not. Those things we have to like take here. So guys, thank you. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for your valuable time. If there any kind of suggestion is there, please comment below. And if any question is there, please also comment below. If I have free time, then I'll definitely like answer those questions. So thank you. Thanks for watching.